This video, I'm going to show y'all some of the snakes. Y'all haven't really got, I don't think, a real good look at any of the snakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the snakes. And they ate, what's today? They ate this last weekend, so they should be digested. The mice should be digested. I'm going to show you, this is Violet. I think they might all be going in shed. This is Violet. This is my Anery Honduran milk snake. I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but if you look on her belly, she's really violet in color and iridescent, and that's one of the reasons why we named her Violet. Currently, I think she's about 3 foot something. Anyways, if you're not familiar with milk snakes, these guys will eat other snakes. They're like king snakes. This girl right here has no problem eating. Like whenever I fed her this last weekend, she actually ate 3 large mice. The weird thing I've noticed about king snakes and milk snakes is if you look, they have, you know, they're round and then they're flat. Like you can actually feel where their belly scoots are different from their scales. Like it's actually makes a flat spot. These guys right here, a lot of people will tell you, like corn snakes make good pets, and they probably do for a first pet because a corn snake is actually a red rat snake. Milk snakes like this and king snakes are a little bit on the jumpy side, and they move around a lot. And this girl, as you can see, they're really calm. She's really calm. This girl right here I got from my friend Robert that owns the pet store here. He owns Acosta's Aquariums. The only snake that I have the only 2 snakes that I have that didn't come from Acosta's Aquariums are Henry and Muerte, my Mexican black king snake, and Henry's my really old Pueblo milk snake. Well, that's Violet, guys. That's my Anery Honduran milk snake right there. I've seen these guys get about 8 foot long. And I'm talking about like that big around, which to me that's kind of nuts for a milk snake. Usually they don't have a tendency to get that large. And the old man Henry, he's in the shed. I'll go ahead and take him out. I might get must on. This guy right here, he's going in the shed. He took 2 mice this last weekend when I fed him. You're super blue, buddy. Huh? As you can tell, he is super in shed. He's got bright blue eyes and he's dark in color. This guy right here is one of the ones that I didn't get from Acosta's Aquariums, and let me tell you a story behind Henry. Henry here is about 17 or 17 and a half years old. He is, yep, he's musking on me. You musking on me because you can't see, buddy? He was purchased by one of my real good friends' mom. and for her classroom, her school classroom, because she was a teacher, and she had him since we were little. We were not little kids, but we were teenagers. He actually bit one of the students, which I think that's a given depending on the situation. So she gave him to my friend, which is it's her daughter, and they were moving and they were having trouble taking care of him, and he's been mistreated. They didn't really know much about snakes. They were feeding this guy raw chicken, which I've seen people feed indigo snakes raw chicken and stuff like that, but I don't know how good that is for them. And as you can see, these guys usually top out around like 3.5, 4 foot, and he is, he's completely full grown. He's a little bit on the, skinny side. I think he's kind of underweight, but as the years have gone by, he seems to not want to eat. And he actually took 2 mice this last weekend, and it feels like he digested them real good. And he went into shed, which it seems to be a thing with him, is he doesn't want to eat, and then when he right after he eats, he goes in the shed. This guy's pretty cool because, like I said, he's like 17 years old, and he's slowing down, but he's still got pep in him. Anyways, guys, that's Henry. He's a Pueblo milk snake. And I'll show you. I figured I'd make y'all a video where y'all actually get to see the snakes, because in a lot of my videos I do a whole bunch of talking. I'll show you this guy right here. I didn't get from a closest aquarium. I got him from BHP Reptiles. This guy almost surely is gonna musk on me. Like it's pretty much a given. Oh, there he goes. He's doing the tail rattle and everything. You see that? This guy right here, he is one of my he's one of my favorites. This guy right here, he done musked all over me. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. This guy right here is my Mexican black king snake, and I actually got him from BHP Reptiles. I call these Mexican blacks, I call them the poor man's indigo snake. They actually aren't very much alike an indigo snake. I've actually got to hold a couple of indigo snakes, and they're nothing like them. I got him because I wanted an all solid black snake, and whenever I look back at it, I do believe the black milk snakes get bigger than these guys. So I probably should have went with black milk snakes. The cool thing about black milk snakes, if you don't know, is these black milk snakes start out looking like Henry, like a Pueblo milk snake, and then as they shed, they start turning black. And then you end up with a solid black snake, which is pretty neat because you get to see. It's kind of like owning a chondro, like a green tree python or something, where whenever they're born, sometimes they're real yellow or they're real red, real pretty, and then slowly they start turning yellow and green, and then you end up with a green snake. Anyway, guys, that's Muerte. This guy right here has never bit me, but he musks on me like crazy. He does the whole tail rattle, and the neat thing about him was whenever I got him, he still got him on the bottom of him. He has these he has dots under his chin right here. I don't know if you can see that. He's got 2 little dots under his chin. They were real prominent whenever I got him, and the Mexican blacks have speckles on their stomach, and then they slowly go away. And these guys are real pretty out in the sunlight. I mean, they're iridescent like aneries usually are. Anyways, that's Muerte right there. And then I'll show you what I consider my boring snakes. They're pretty, but they're not. They're kind of boring. I'll start off with Popeye up here. This guy up here, chicken shit. Perfect. This guy right here, this is my pied ball python. He's a male. I got this guy at an NARBC, National or NRA, or however you say it, NARBC, a reptile show, and in Arlington. My buddy that owns the pet shop here offered me to go with him, and I'd never been to a reptile show, and I was gonna go, and then I couldn't go, so I gave him some money. And told him if he could to pick me up a pied ball python, and he bring him back and one other pied. And the sucky thing about reptile shows is when you get a snake from a reptile show, in my opinion, even if they're a reputable breeder, you still, like, I wouldn't do as much. I wouldn't be too worried. Like, say if you got one from BHB Reptiles, or just a well-known snake breeder, I wouldn't be too worried about, getting a snake that's something wrong with. The other pied that he got was another male, and he gave me the high white, because Popeye here is a high white. He's real pretty. You're dirty, dude. The problem with him, his brother that he had, they both had what looked to me like the start of a respiratory infection, and they both had mites like crazy. And if you haven't had mites in your snake collection before, they suck big time. I mean, they are one of the worst things the hardest things to get rid of. The problem and his brother, the one that my buddy Robert got, he actually developed a respiratory infection when he ate and died. And this guy right here had what I thought was the beginning of a respiratory infection, and I caught it pretty quick, and he still wouldn't eat. He was being a real big picky eater. That's kind of why he's as small as he is. This year he's just started to really want to eat. This guy right here, because he was a picky eater, I had to feed him, force feed him pinkies for probably the first 6 months that I had him. And then he started getting like where he wanted to eat. I have come across this guy right here. No matter how much humidity he has in his tank, he always has crappy sheds. The only way he's ever had a full shed, almost full shed, is if I actually take him out and help him shed when he's shedding. I've known a couple guys that own pieds and they don't have that problem. So he might have just been bad, like a bad gene. Had a bad gene in him. He is very pretty. Anyways, that's Popeye, guys. I'll show you my other boring snake. This girl right here is this is Ruby. She is my albino ball python. This girl right here, this is the girl right here that I've taken to my kids' kindergarten class to show them that not all snakes are bad. Around here in New Mexico and the Texas area, you run into a bunch of people that just kill the living crap out of snakes. They have no idea that without the snakes, you know, there would be an increase in rodent population, and like the farmers around here's crops would get tore up by rodents and things. And we do have Texas indigos over here. The indigo snakes actually eat, if you aren't familiar with them, they actually eat a lot of venomous snakes, mostly rattlesnakes and stuff. I've been trying to educate people about these guys because there's no such thing as a bad snake, in my opinion. There's only bad people. Animals act what their instincts are. You know, they act towards their instincts. Like my iguana up there, the way I tamed her down was it's like a mutual relationship. You know, like we both agree that we respect each other. Anyways, guys, this is Ruby. We named her Ruby because, of course, she's an albino, so her eyes are ruby colored. This is the sweetest snake ever. I've actually talked to several people about albinos, and albinos seem to be a lot calmer than other morphs of snake. I don't know if it's just genetics or what, but Tom Crutchfield actually was talking about iguanas being, the albino iguanas being way chilled out. So, like, if you do want to jump in and get an iguana, which I don't recommend an iguana for hardly anybody. They are a giant pain in the butt. If you do want to get an iguana, I would probably recommend you get, depending on where you live at, they require a lot of humidity. If you're looking for an iguana and you can afford it to get it the right enclosure and everything, I would probably go with an albino or some kind of desert iguana. Like this area would be perfect for a desert iguana or like a tegu, you know, something that's in, you know, lives in this drier area. Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you the big guy if he lets me take him out. Since I fed him, he has been wanting me to feed him more food. And I think y'all like the big guy. You're not familiar with snake hooks? This is a snake hook. This is the single most greatest tool that you could have if you own snakes. Or not even this. You could actually use a stick. My carpet python, his name's Ka. I have him hook trained where if I pick him up with a hook, he knows he's not getting food, so he doesn't strike at me whenever I go in there. If I don't let him know that I'm picking him up, he will bite me because it's just a feeding response. He is the only one of the snakes that does that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to get him out. Okay, guys. This guy right here. This is Ka. This is my carpet python. Somebody commented on my video that they believe he is an Irian Jaiwa crossed with the jungle, I believe. The neat thing about Ka here, he is by far my favorite snake. He's the one that's got the big, nice enclosure. These guys I really like because they feel really different. if you're used to like ball pythons, the scales on a ball python are smooth, and you know, they feel on here, they feel kind of beaded like, and their belly scoots are a lot thinner. And part of it is these guys are semi-arboreal. They say semi-arboreal. This guy stays on his log, and he is he's definitely one of my favorite snakes out of all the snakes. If I was gonna, you know, if I was gonna say, you know, you wanted a python that was not as boring as the ball python and real pretty to look at and got pretty good size, depending on where these guys come from, like Caw here, I think would probably top out maybe 6 foot, 5.5, 6 foot, and then they put a little bit of girth on them. And this guy right here is only a couple years old, and I don't know if you can tell, he's been eating pretty good. This guy right here is a pain in the butt because he will only eat large mice. He will not take rats, and I've done everything to try to get him to take rats. I've given him live rats, scented, like had live mice in with substrate in the tank, and actually put a live rat in there, let the rat kind of live in there. Try to feed him that. He killed the rat, wouldn't eat it. I tried frozen thawed rats and scented them with mice, would not eat it. I did the tuna trick where you dip if you got a picky eater, you dip the mouse in tuna. I dipped the rat in tuna, wouldn't eat it. He just does not want to take rats. He will take large mice, as many as I want to feed him. This last weekend, he actually ate 4 large mice, no problem, and he's been cruising around the front of his tank like he wants more mice. One of the neatest features about Caw here is this guy has never bit me. He has struck at me. I'll show you the pattern on his head. It's almost a perfect X. See the pattern on his head? And this guy right here, he sees the camera, wants to go over there and sit down. This guy right here is by far my favorite snake out of all the snakes. My son, he considers him, this is his snake. I have pictures of him with the Caw around his neck and stuff. This guy right here, like I said, he would never, he strikes at me whenever he's hungry. He hasn't bitten me, and you can usually tell when a snake is prone to biting. As you can see, this guy right here let me mess with his head, and that's usually a sign that they're not real aggressive. He is very, 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 very food aggressive. Anyways, guys, there's all my snakes. The lizards are asleep right now, and I don't want to mess with them. I'll try to post a video on the lizards, get this one edited, and let y'all know, you know, just get one made of the lizards. Anyways, guys, you know the drill. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. If you have an idea for the video or you want to know anything, let me know. If you want to know anything about the music part of my channel, let me know as well. I'm here. I'll do whatever y'all ask. I'm gonna try to pick up the videos. So the kids were out for spring break, and tomorrow's Easter, So I'm going to try to pick up where I left off on the videos. Anyways, guys, thanks. I'll see y'all later.